Good morning. Good afternoon. How is everybody today? I don't know how I'm going to do. I cut my ankle and I can't find a band-aid that fits. I'm going to have to tough it out. It is bright and sunny today. Yeah, this is not good. What am I going to do? I'm going to cover it. Who do I see? Hi, Carly. I'm going to walk in pain till pain goes away. Oh, I was going to go for 3 miles too. I'm going to try something. Let me go sit on the porch for a minute. I think it's just me and you, girl. I want to talk about the Amy Bradley disappearance today. And some people get in here. I wonder if I can pause this and go take care of my ankle real quick. Let me see. All right, if you're listening, I'm going to pause for a few minutes and then I will be right back. I am sorry. I apologize. Let me see. Oh, look at that. Green screen. Oh, no, how do I get it off? Delete. None. There we go. I'm hitting buttons over here. What is this? Oh, I shut my camera off. Mm, maybe I can't. You can't pause on here? Shoot. Oh, well. Hi, everybody. There's more people coming in. Say hello. I am struggling with my ankle and I didn't realize it. Oh, no. Yeah, this would have been bad. It's bleeding and everything. So, I wanted to talk about Amy Bradley today. There's a documentary on Netflix about her. And I'm wondering if anybody is familiar with her story. She's the girl in 1998 that disappeared from a cruise ship. Anybody familiar? What am I going to do? It is nice out, but it's only like 70, sunny and blue skies. And I don't think it's supposed to heat up too much more. Oh my goodness, look at this little puppers. Look at that little guy. He's cute. Uh, all right, Carly, try to hold down the chat for me if you can. I'm going to be right back. I'm just going to set the phone right here. Ouch. Let's see. I'll do it just like this. Oh, no, I don't want to stare at the. Let's see. At the cobwebs. I just took my shoe off and left it for when I get back. Hold on. Oh, and I can't get in the house. Hotness Express today. Did you hear me ripping all my band-aids open? I'm back. Okay. Now we can start. She will be right back. Hello, everybody. I'm going for 3 miles today. So I wanted to talk about the Amy Bradley case. So it's a documentary on Netflix. I think it was 3 parts. And Amy was 23 years old in 1998. And first of all, I just have to say I loved her vibe and her aesthetic. So growing up in the 90s, some girls rocked the hairstyle to the side in your eye. That was kind of like her style. I had a college roommate that had that style, so definitely got the generation vibes going on from that era. She was an athlete in high school, really good basketball player. Um, and I think she had just finished college. She was like 23 years old. Just got her first new apartment. Um, had come out to her parents and had had a couple girlfriends, but her this backstory was really cute. Growing up, like she played like competitive AAU, I'm assuming they kept calling it travel ball basketball. And one of the other girls on the team, they ended up being really good friends. Amy was outgoing, the other friend was shy, and they just grew up together as friends and went to different colleges, but both came out while they were in college and didn't know it when they were younger. And then met back up after college, and like it was just the sweetest love story connection, like meant to be together. And that was right before she went on this cruise. And the girlfriend got interviewed, and oh my god, it was heartbreaking to hear that story. So Amy's dad, I don't know if he won the cruise or was offered to go on the cruise through his company. And at first it was supposed to be him and his wife. And then they found out they could bring their kids. So Amy had, I believe, a younger brother. They seemed pretty close in age, maybe 5 or less years apart, but super close family, super loving family. And they go on this cruise, and it was to like, they were going to dock and port and be able to get off the ship in like Puerto Rico, Curacao. Those were the only 2 places I remember. Um, and I think they got to go to one of the ports. But, she's 23, and, her and her brother, there, maybe he was 21. They're enjoying everything on the cruise, but they're the night owls. Like, they're staying up really late. And it seemed like, there's thousands of people on these cruise ships, but only a certain group that's going to go to like the late night after hours dance club. And so there's more of a chance that, that group is going to get to know each other because it's not thousands of people, it's probably dozens of people. And it seemed like they were staying up till like, 3, 4 in the morning type deal. So that's what happened the night she went missing. But I'm going to backtrack to their cruise experience. And it seemed like they described how there was a dinner. Like, I guess when you go, I've never been on a cruise. Let me know if you've been on a cruise in the comments. I haven't been on one yet, but I've always heard they have a formal night, formal dinner. And it was that night that they were eating, and the parents both described, and her brother, that it was odd that the wait staff, knew Amy by name, was kind of like calling her out, doing special things for her, making sure she got served right away. They even joked, like, well, if you want something, have Amy ask for it. So she was known. And there was that. Then that same night, you get your pictures taken, right? Everybody's all dressed up in their formal clothes, and then you can go in, and they showed this little room where they would have everybody's photos, like on these ledges on the wall. And when they went in, Amy's wasn't there. So that is red flag number one in this case. So someone who was not her family went in and got her pictures, and they did not act like they interrogated that picture guy. Like, he should have been able to know something. Um, and I don't think there was any record. So maybe someone just swiped them. Maybe it was the photographer guy that was selling them, the shop worker. Who knows? But they don't know who took them. There wasn't a record of anybody else buying them. So the mom, she wasn't thinking anything of it. She's just like, can you print me out some more? That's it. And then I think it was that same night. So her and her brother, her parents go to bed, and they showed their cabin. So it was just like as big as a standard hotel room with like 2 double beds in it and a tiny bathroom off to the side. Like, that was it. 1 room and a bathroom. And there were 4 of them in there. So there was like a little love seat. So I don't know. The kids probably just crashed on the floor, shared the couch. Who knows? And parents go to bed. Oh, and it had a balcony. But apparently the balcony had a very tall, like, I don't know, 7-foot glass enclosure, right? So because right away everybody wants to speculate she went missing from the ship, so she jumped over or she fell over. But that's being it's that's not an accident if you're making it over a 7-foot fence. So her parents go to bed. Her and her brother go to the after hours nightclub. Now, the guy that was staying right next to them, that like shared the balcony with just like a divider in between, he was at the after hours, and he was an older guy and was traveling by himself. He said he was a solo traveler. He traveled by himself all the time. When I was watching it, was like, red flag. That's another red flag. But I guess he would talk to Amy a lot because they would always be on the patios smoking, so they would talk. So he knew her, and he just, said he stayed up late and just liked to hang out and watch everybody. So you could see that as people watcher or creeper. And while they were at this after hours party dance club, there was a band that plays on the ship, and one of their band members was very friendly with the people and was dancing with Amy. And I'm trying to think of his first name. He went by the nickname Yellow. Got very friendly with Amy, dancing with her, spending time with her. And the 2 of them were spotted, I believe, at about 1 in the morning. I think the nightclub closed like 1 or 2 in the morning, and they were going up the elevator. I guess you can see in them, by a couple girls that were hanging out on the deck, and they saw him go up with her. Um, and he gave her something. And then I read somewhere that like he gave her a camera or something. I don't know. So that was one spotting of them together late at night, but not the latest time. So she does make it back to her room because apparently when you're on a cruise ship, you when you key in, it's electronic so they can see what time guests get into their rooms. The problem is when you leave your room, there's no record of that. So they know she was in her room, I think like somewhere around 4 a.m., her and her brother. They both went out to the patio to hang out for a little bit. And then the brother went to bed. Now remember, they're in one big room, right? The dad said he got up somewhere around between 5 and 5:30 in the morning, somewhere around there. Wanted to make sure the kids, made it back, sees the sun, looks out the sliding door to the uh, patio, balcony, whatever, and sees Amy like laying on a lounge chair out there, and he could see her legs. And then he goes back to bed. At 6 a.m., somewhere between 5:30 a.m. and 6 a.m., she leaves the room and is never seen again. So after the dad sees her, sometime after that, she leaves the room. There's no record of it because the the doors, the system doesn't record that, and she's never seen again. So the parents wake up in the morning, she's not there. They do what everybody would do. They search the ship themselves. After doing that like 3 times, they start to panic. They go to the guy, the cruise director. I got a lot to say about him. They go to the cruise director, and they were about to go into port. And of course, the family's like, you cannot let people off this ship. Our daughter is missing. So they, I don't know how they verbally, the cruise representatives, how they verbally spoke to the family in real time. But during this documentary, that cruise director, he spoke through the whole thing. Jerk. He was so insensitive, beyond insensitive. That's why I used the harsher word. I just couldn't believe it. I was dumbfounded. Their immediate response to them was, we can't stop everybody from getting off this ship. They paid money. They're paying customers. They're supposed to go enjoy the port. So I guess what they did do was they let everybody off the ship, and then they went and they did like they do have a protocol, I guess. I forget what they called it. But every single employee, no matter what type of job you had, you're assigned to a certain area, and you search every single nook and cranny, drawer, cabinet, everything. So they did that, and she was not anywhere on the ship. And the cruise goes on. The parents, I don't even think they stayed for the whole cruise. They, spoke to authorities and got an official investigation going, and eventually went back home. I don't think I would have left. I don't know. And the thing about cruise ships is there's no authority, I guess, when you're in international waters. There's no country, federal government that is overruling anything. It's just the captain. The captain is the law. Trying to see if anybody's in here. Say hello if you're listening. So it sounds like nothing was really done too much in real time on the ship. Of course, they interviewed people. So they did eventually, I think they put flyers on everybody's doors, and everybody was, hearing the rumor that, oh, did a girl fall over or whatever. And I think it was Curacao. I think this happened when they were pulling into Curacao. So they do interview a few people. So they interview the guy who lived right next door. Um, and he was a little suspicious for a while because I guess that night the person on the other side of him said he heard his TV real loud that night and sounded like he was yelling at somebody. But he's alone. He's alone in the room. So that was one. And then there were the two girls that were on the deck. Um, I don't know if they saw Amy and that guy Yellow, the band player. I don't know if they saw them twice that night or if I had the time wrong, but I know for sure one of the times that they saw Amy and the band guy Yellow go up the elevator was like around 5 in the morning. So remember what I was saying, we know she left the room around 5:30, something like that. These girls claim they see those two together. And what is key about that is they see both of them go up the elevator, but only he came down. So to me, that's like, he is suspect number one for me. Um, the other than that, they didn't get really, there was, none of her clothing, nothing left behind that they ever found. So then they interview like the head police person on Curacao. And I liked his personality. He was pretty frank and sympathetic. But he said, he's like, look, if she fell overboard or jumped overboard, we have a very strong current. And those islands, like, they know their waters, right? Like, they know the wind. Like, I think in Aruba, they're part of their island, their trees are like all bent over one direction because they have a strong wind current that's always the same direction. So, like, he knows the water currents. And he was like, because they were very close. In fact, some people were saying she could have swam. I don't know about that, but they were so close to port that, if she wasn't injured, she possibly could have stayed afloat or swam closer to shore. He said, if she didn't make it, there would have been some kind of remains, some type of clothing, something of her that would have washed not only ashore, but in one location, like, because that's where the current pushes everything. So they know nothing ever showed up. So he was like, she didn't she didn't fall over or jump over. So then that means she got off that ship against her will, probably, amidst all those people without anybody knowing. That's terrifying to think about. Like, how did she get conned into going up that elevator with that guy? So now years go past, and it's a cold, it's a cold case. The FBI interviewed all the people from the United States that were on that cruise that they could, but they can't really force any other countries to do anything. So, and then there were stories done on it. So I think they went on. I think it was America's Most Wanted that did it. Not that they had somebody that was wanted, I don't think, but just, missing persons case. I'm in the shade. All right. I hope this is still recording and I'm not paused and messed up and everybody can hear me. Hello. So as the story breaks and it starts hitting headlines, now remember, this is late 90s when this happened, 98 when it happened, and then years go by. It's still early 2000s. Social media isn't, really a thing yet. So you really just have like TV shows and things like that. They do find um, a guy that was on the beach in Curacao. I don't know the timeline. I don't think it was right away, but it wasn't a decade later either. And he said he was on the beach. I think he was selling something. And he said he remembered two guys walking with a woman, and the woman approached him, and the guys were like right there, right, like with her. And the one guy was like staring her down. Like she came over to him, like she wanted to say something, but couldn't because the guys got there too fast and like shut it down. And the guy said the reason he remembered it, and he said that the guy that stared him down was Yellow from the band. And I believe he said the FBI gave him a lie detector test. The interviewer asked him, like, how sure you are. And he said, I'm not 99% sure, I'm 100% sure, which was pretty bold. And so that was, one of the first people that came out and was like, I saw her. Oh, and the reason he knew is because she had a specific tattoo and I think a watch. So some identifying marks also. So then after that, time passes. A lady is interviewed and she was on a cruise in a port. And I think this might have been Barbados. I think it was Barbados. And, her and her husband, they're exploring the town. And she ran into some establishment just to use the restroom. And she was in there and it was, a tiny, 1-2 stall bathroom, a sink. It kind of reminded me of like a dive bar type place. And she was using the restroom and the door opened. And then when she came out, there was a girl in there that she said looked exactly like Amy, said her name was Amy. And the woman was like talking to her a little bit, like just asking general questions. And when she went to leave, there was a guy like right out the door, like right on the other side of the door. In fact, like wouldn't like let her through. So this lady was real like, I would call her Karen. She's like, oh, I just, played dumb and was like, excuse me, excuse me, I'm trying to get by. And went on out. But she just said that interaction just um, lasted with her and stuck with her because of the way the girl talked. And I can't remember specifically what she said to her. Um, and then the way the guy was acting. So she did report that to the authorities. They went to that establishment, they checked it out. Um, then there was a third sighting, and this poor guy, he was in the military and he had heard about the case and he had knew that he had seen her, but he felt like he couldn't say anything because the establishment he went to, he wasn't supposed to be at, for services. And so he waited. He was like a few years from retirement. When he retired, he reached out to authorities and he told them, the establishment he had went into and everything he knew about this girl and how, the reasons why he thought it was her. So the three pretty reliable sightings of her. So I felt pretty confident that, she didn't go overboard. I think she got trafficked. I think this was trafficking. The band leader, the yellow guy, is so suspicious that his own daughter, adult daughter, reached out to the family of Amy and said she wanted to help. On the interview, she even called her dad, spoke to him on the phone, and he was just deny, nothing to do with it. But then hung up. The reason his daughter is suspicious is because her mom said, before they were divorced, they're divorced now, that he brought home like a suitcase full of photographs of all white women from the cruise ship in a suitcase. Do you think any of those were those formal dinner picture photos? Probably. At the end of the documentary, they did say that he did give an interview with the FBI. They didn't really say anything more than that. They just said he cooperated and gave an interview, and that's it. I'm down by the water. I'm going to show you. I'll remember I stopped at the part with the yeah, the time is going. Oh, who do I see? Carla. Hello. Wait, what's your question? Let me see. I don't know if you already answered this question. What is your opinion about Trump's request for Hitler to ask BK more about the case? Oh my gosh, Carlos's head probably just exploded because you asked about Trump. I feel any attention and pressure to get that judge to do that is a good thing. Okay. I do think that someone, and right now it looks like the judge is our last hope, get him to tell some information, right? The fact that it's Trump, to me, he's just doing that as deflection because of what's going on with Epstein. I really don't think he probably knows anything about the case. So I just think they're looking for pop culture things to, I'm going to go on this side, to deflect. What do you think? I also thought, I'll switch topics for a minute in the middle of my story. It's okay. I also thought I heard a playback. It was probably like a Brian Etten interview or I don't know, some news report of Bicca Barlow when she did make a statement, I believe, at the plea hearing. And it was a weird statement that she made about how something, I'm just guesstimating what she said. It was around the lines of, weird or strange things can happen at sentencing, or you never know what can happen at a sentencing hearing. And it was around where they were talking about um, keeping the gag. So keeping the non-dissemination order, and the defense wanted that, and that I guess that's why. And I thought, ooh, are they afraid like, people are going to come out and talk and say all these things, and then something weird's going to happen at sentencing, and then that could like jeopardize a future trial or something like that. I don't know. All right, look at this, you guys. I got to flip the camera around so you can see this. It's beautiful. Finally, a bright, sunny day. Can you see that okay? Right through the trees? I don't know if I'm zoomed in. There you go. I'm zoomed in. There. Look at that. It looks pretty. There's a little boat out there. There's a couple of boats out there. See if I can zoom in on the boats. Love it. Oh, and here's that. Oh, Carly, if you're in here, we got to go down this path someday. We'll go look for beach glass. I think I did go down it like, I don't know, 20 years ago, but I don't remember. All right, I'm just going to show you guys the landscape here for a minute. This is not our beach. This is just our uh, our coastline. Yeah, it's only like 70 degrees, but it is nice and hot out. Beautiful. You can see, like, they put these rocks down there. Right, where's my finger? Right there. To prevent erosion. They get very slick, but they are fun to climb on and jump in the water if it's deep enough to jump in. We'll just have our daily Zen moment. I love listening to the water. Healing. Oh my gosh, people went down here. Look at how steep that is. No way would I do that. So apparently that just goes down to like some bricks. All right. Okay, I hope I didn't mute myself. I'm gonna go back over to the sidewalk side. Oh, there is no shade around, and I can't read the chat right now. So I'm wondering, Carla, if you gave your thoughts about that. I watched Olivia Gonsalves's interview with Brian Enton yesterday. I'll get back to the other story in a little bit. Like 3 times because I feel like everybody was showing it. Everybody was showing it, but it's okay because everybody discusses it a little different. So chats are always a little different. Um, I don't like that everybody is so mean and brutal about like Ashley. Oh no, that was another video, not that one. There were people were making some comments about Olivia though. I mean, she lost a lot of weight. She looks beautiful. But when she talked about writing her victims